find them. Or just go without them.
Just go without it. All right.
If you know something okay now.
What's up, man?
A lot's up. A lot is up. A lot is up.
What's going on in your brain going on lately?
A lot.
There's always a lot going on, huh?
A lot's going on in my brain.
What about the music? Have you been doing the music lately?
Yeah. Of course.
Start with it. Been doing the music lately?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
Of course.
So, what do you want? Today's election day. What do you think about that?
You know what? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
You didn't vote?
No.
Have you ever voted before?
No.
No.
I never got myself to get in line, dude.
Same, except for today I voted.
No, that's cool.
Voted for Joe Biden.
We're growing up.
Yeah, we're growing up. So it's interesting, like, just that's what I was thinking. Like, we're growing up, so we're getting more. We've been around the block, I guess. We've been, in the workforce. We've been raising kids. We've been doing the real life thing, the real world thing. So it's like, I feel like we have a better understanding of what's going on from personal experience, rather than like being like a young 18-year-old kid that thinks he knows everything and shit like that. So we're at that age for sure.
Yeah.
And I think just with everything else going on in the world too, the world kind of stopped and everything became really political. Kind of talking about it earlier, like with social media and shit, even became political. It's kind of weird, huh? But I don't know. What we were talking about? We were talking about like just crazy shit earlier.
Yeah, let's get into it then.
Let's get into it, like socialism and shit. What do you know about socialism from the past, or from your experience or understanding, your opinion?
So we're living in socialism now.
How so?
I mean, you have social programs, social security, social media, social drinking.
The social dilemma.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Huh.
It's the same thing. I'm just repeating things.
Just go deeper though. I like it though. It is the same thing. But like you were talking about, even like the shit that we consume, like even just like clothes and shit like that. It's kind of like,
yeah, like everybody has the same Hanes t-shirt from the same 6-pack.
Yeah.
From Target.
Yeah. So is that a good thing or a bad thing or what?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's nothing really to complain about. Or I mean, I'm fast forwarding, but it's, do we know the deal? Like, I thought we knew the deal.
That's the
so
thing.
Why are people still complaining about isms?
Isms and schisms?
If we already know the deal.
What's the deal?
That it's like developing it every day. It changes. Like we think it's like blanketed capitalism, or they think it's, oh man, how do I say this? Like absolute, but it's not, because on a daily basis it's evolving. Because like I'm kind of fast forwarding again, but like it evolves as like culture. Oh man, I'm not trying to sound whack, but
just say it.
Let me think of a way to say this. Like,
make sure the sound's on.
Yeah, I gotta gather my thought about it.
Alright, sounds good. Alright, well, got this joint sparked up. We could take some more shots and spark up some more weed.
That was probably a terrible answer right there, but
What was my question? I
Oh.
forgot. What is socialism, or how are we there? Or what was it? I can't remember. What
Yeah,
was it?
just what I don't know.
Well, so
Oh,
we're in the midst of socialism. It crept in on us, kind of, or what? Is that how you see it?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's like it's always been that way. It's always worked.
What?
It's kind of like a contractual obligation always is good, you know, like.
So that's what I was kind of thinking too when you were saying we're in everything's socialized, I guess, with social isms.
I try not to say
It's like a
isms,
social
but
contract though,
yeah.
kind of like just. I think we were talking about it earlier. We are just talking about culture and like the thoughts that drive us every day, like the concepts that construct our world, and like shit like that. A lot of your own beliefs come from your culture, so like,
Okay.
you know what I mean. So it's like pretty deep.
Okay.
It's pretty deep, but we're like in a capitalistic society, but people are trying to go away from that and go to socialism and shit like that.
Check.
Go ahead.
Check.
Yeah, we're good. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Oh no, I just don't want it to go socialist. I think it's kind of a scary thing because for my ideas, like it what I see is like people wanting things. They just want handouts basically. They like, and they expect it from the governments. So like I don't like that idea of us relying on the government so much. I think we rely on the government too much actually. So like I don't like to see people leaning into that side of like, yeah, let's blame the government for this. And I know the government does fucked up shit and has done fucked up shit and shit like that. And being aware of it is important, and talking about it and making it be more known and aware is important. But continuing with the victimhood mentality and like blaming them and like not taking responsibility and accountability for our own shit, like no matter what, like doesn't, like people say, it doesn't matter who we vote for, this person, that person, shit's not going to change or whatever. Like, and I agree with that, but being involved, being aware on the local level, being aware of what's going on political, like world policies and shit like that, foreign policies, that affects us here too. So I think it's important to be involved and know what's going on. So it's like the whole think locally, act or think globally, act locally. You know, there's only so much we can do, but I think we need to empower ourselves as much as we can for sure. And like I guess trying to be involved in voting and politics, I think is kind of the way to go. Like I said, just trying to participate and be aware of what's going on instead of like trying to like put your hands up, be like, I'm not involved, like I'm on the sidelines. I don't think is really a good idea. I think because I played that line where it's like I kicked back and was like, man, I don't even want all the Democrats, Republicans, all the fucking governments fucked up. I felt that way. I still do feel that way, but I feel like it's changing right now. I feel like times are changing, people are changing. Like we were saying before, maybe it's our age, maybe it's everything that's going on in the world right now, but it seems like there's more first-time voters, more people are getting involved, more people are wanting to be involved and not just stand on the sidelines anymore, which I think is important. But do I believe like in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and shit like that? Nah. I don't believe anybody's gonna come in and help me in my situation besides me, and I don't expect anybody else to come in and do that for me or my family or rely on anybody else. Like fuck that shit. That shit's bullshit. I think that's where the direction of our country is going. It's like we want to blame people for this and that and blame the system. Yeah, the system's fucked up, and we're probably going to talk about it too, but like racism is part of that, like the argument nowadays. But it's like it's more about classism.
Yeah.
I feel like if
It's
you're
about money always.
always,
It's never not.
yeah.
In it's funny, man. I mean, relationships are. I mean, I'm not even gonna sound all dark right now, but no, it's always about dough. Like,
Yeah.
it's never not about anything but that. Not even like God or anything. And that's like how more emotional can you get than like religion, you know? It's not money even trumps that, like spirituality.
Yep. Definitely. Kind of see that with just religion itself, huh? It's like kind of gets corrupted by money and shit. And
it's good money.
It is tax write-offs and shit and 501c3 nonprofit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, to think otherwise, you're a fool. To think it's not about dough.
So how does that affect us? Like what like politics are real tricky. Politics are confusing and complex and
well, what they're trickling down to us is not the real game. Like the trickle down politics, I guess, that we understand is like playing flag football or something. Like we don't even know like the amount of money that's going, like the real game that's being played. I'm trying to explain this. Like they don't care about no nationality. Like
they're
fucking with everybody. Like you said earlier.
Yeah,
they're fucking with everybody, every other country. Like making money with them. Otherwise, they'd be currently being bombed right now. I mean, or it's like already happened. Like the takeover already happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, they killed a bunch of dudes. Like
they've been doing all this shit.
John Lennon, Malcolm X, or Kennedy, or whoever
Bob
else.
Marley, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Fucking Nipsey.
Jesus, dude.
Jesus, the OG homie. Jesus. No, what's his name? Real name? Yeshua?
Oh, Yeshua.
Or is that it?
Yeah, because I think Yeshua means...
Because Jehovah's God and Yeshua is...
So no, Messiah was his name, though.
Really?
Yeah.
That was his name?
Yeah.
Messiah?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that... But it also means something too, right?
No,
like
I think it was the first...
Oh, really? And then it became a word?
It became known as like...
So his name... Why did they say his name was Yeshua?
Because that means son of God in like Aramaic or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then where did Jesus come from?
Some Italians.
Because I heard that like even the Aramaic, they don't even have J's in their shit or something.
Yeah,
that's why it's
so
Yeshua,
why?
not Joshua or Yeshua.
Right.
Yeah, why? Yeah. That's crazy. So like words and shit, etymology is a crazy thing too, huh? Like you were saying earlier about socialism.
Mm-hmm.
And how social's in it, and it's like basically it's almost like a social agreement with socialism. I feel like where everyone's the same and everyone's equal and everyone's on the same page, meaning everyone has to agree with each other, meaning like we can't, like I don't know, I just see a weird direction that everyone's going where it's like everyone's equal and everyone has the same, like say women the whole movement of like being equal to men, like I don't look down on women at all. I actually look up to them more than men in some ways, but like physically or something, like you can't, compare the two. So like there's just certain things where it's like, no, you can't compare apples and oranges, you know what I mean? It's like this is this and that is that, and naturally like you got anomalies and shit. You got super freak women that are super strong, or little weenie ass men that are weak or whatever, but like I don't know, generally that's how it goes. Men have dicks. So all this is getting like obscure and questionable now, which is, to me, I think it's going too far. And I think that has partly to do with socialism, as far as like everyone's equal and everyone has this, it's like, nah, man, no, not everyone's equal. Some people excel way more than, it's the whole idea of like everyone gets a trophy type of shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's some bullshit. Like,
no, that's what I don't like, and man, that's what I'm talking about on the music too. It's the same thing. It's like, well, you can't say no one's whack anymore, It's like everybody's dope.
What do you mean?
But that's not the truth.
Yeah. That's kind of, like everyone's getting a trophy kind of deal, yeah.
It's like saying someone's not good is like destroying their future or something. But like,
no, it's doing them a favor, huh? I think we should move this. But yeah. So that makes me think though, right? Like, that makes me think, bro. Cause I like to study nature, and that's the thing that I draw. I like to study nature, and that's the thing I draw from the most, as far as like just trying to find the truth of things. I like to look at nature, because otherwise it could get real complex with like politics or just human beings in general. You know, humans are complex things, whatever, tend to be sometimes, but nature tends to simplify things, and like it goes back to like you said, everyone's dope. You can't say someone's whack, or like everyone has a following because of the platforms nowadays, right? Everyone has a CD or whatever. Everyone puts out music, whatever. Everyone's a rapper. Everyone's a fucking musician, artist, whatever. But it's like, okay, everyone gets a trophy, all right? But it's like socialism. Everyone gets a plate on their table. It's
socialist.
Yeah.
It's socialist.
And I see the congruency. I see the parallels. Like,
I don't even hate that. I'm just saying, you know.
But I do, cause like, so I watched this fucking documentary yesterday. I was watching some shit, and it was like the Patagonia, you know, the brand Patagonia.
Okay, yeah.
But so it's like they're like outdoor naturist people, and so they made some documentaries, and it was about like the rivers and like salmon and shit, and how the salmon are getting fucked up because we started damming up all the rivers and shit, and like so many different types of salmon were fucked up, and like there's so many different ones that evolved specifically for each little creek. And how just crazy the life of a salmon is, where it's born and then it fucking goes down to the river into the fucking ocean, and then it gets bigger, and then when it's full grown it goes up. Sometimes they go up to like 900 miles up river. They swim up river, and then they lay their eggs up there where it's like safer.
That's bad. But
the whole crazy thing is they take nutrients because they're bulking up in the ocean, so they take nutrients from the ocean and bring it and feed the forest by going up the river.
Okay.
And then like bears will come and take them out, and then those nutrients are dispersed throughout the forest through shit or whatever.
Right.
And then so that's why we have these big ass forests up north in California and fucking shit like that. But so they started doing these hatcheries where like they're it makes it seem like a good thing because they're hatching off like so many. The numbers are crazy, and it's actually a big business, fish is. But like they're weakening the gene pool because they started inbreeding all these fish, and it's just evolution. Like evolution happens a lot quicker than people think. It's called epigenetics, where like each generation will take in information and encode it into its DNA, right, for the next generation to be better adapt. So like with plants, if you're growing a plant in the backyard, it's going to take in all the information, like, oh, this is how intense the sun is, this is the type of and we do it here too. Like, you know, your family's from the Philippines, my dad's from like Vietnam, but like so they come here and they have to learn the American culture and then pass it down to you, and then you further refine it and pass it down. And that if you're still in America. But so like with plants, it's the same thing. They pass down the information for the next generation based on what goes on in their life. But so like the fish are getting weaker and weaker and smaller. They were like 22 pounds on average at one point, and now they're like 8 pounds because so my whole point was, was like natural selection. Which is survival of the fittest, which is not everyone eats. Like you have to kill what you eat, which is like a capitalistic mentality, like entrepreneurial. Like if you don't kill anything today, you're not going to eat, because you're not going to be like, hey, government owes me something. Like it goes against nature to feed the weak and like promote the weak. Wow. And that's what we're doing, kind of like we're actually promoting people to be weak and sit on their ass and not go out and hustle, not go out and fucking game themselves up and learn about the world. They're gonna just they want to be spoon-fed shit, you know what I mean? Like, and that's weakening our country.
Not progress.
It's not progress.
Like people think being able to order some shit on your back while you're on your phone is like progress. I'm not even trying to say it's lazy. I'm just saying it's not really like.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You're not better than someone because
we became so convenient and lazy, and like we don't know how to fucking kill our own food. Now it's being delivered to us on our phones. Like,
yeah,
this is
like,
so far removed from nature and like the survival of the fittest. You know what I mean? So like that's how I look at socialism, and I look at capitalism as survival of the fittest.
It really is, yeah.
And
it really is, because like if there's someone balling, there's someone broke.
Yeah, and what's gonna make you want to get more if you're being kind of fed, you know, you're getting a little bit of here and there, but you're just surviving. Like sometimes you need to really kind of starve to really fucking bring out the beast in you and like be like, damn, I don't ever want to be that low. Like I don't ever want to, you know, like I gotta stay on top of my shit or else I'm gonna fucking slip, and then, you know, I gotta feed my family, this and that, whatever. But it's like having these social constructs of like a security net is like weakening our people and our country, really, when it comes down to it.
I mean,
we don't want to rely on the government.
No, people justify it by having things. Like that's the only reason they justify like a middle class. I mean, I don't know. No, what I'm trying to say is, sorry. They only justify like getting in line and being like a pillar of society with having things. You know what I mean? Like having a house and a car, so like the homies don't make fun of me. You know, like that's
kind of keeping up with the Joneses and having the iPhone and having a car. And shit.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, it's not that hard, right? You know.
Nah. But I know what you're saying though, like just like we kind of settle for these kind of the distractions or comforts, but we're not really free. And the comforts are cool, but then again it's like, do we even really own our shit? Like, you know, we a lot of our shit's based off of debt, so that's kind of crazy. It's like our whole system is kind of based off of debt, but that's a whole nother story. But
yeah, I was gonna say something though about that. Anyways, oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, we live so like militaristically minded. Like that's why we apply these things, like social programs. It's like rations. Like
I see what. Yeah.
But we're supposedly not at war no more, even though I know there's like perpetual war occurring as we speak. Like, but I'm saying like we're not really. We're not at war. Us over right here, like living here in SoCal, we're not at war. So like, but we're still acting like we need orders, and we need a way for you to provide, like. I was gonna bring this point up about the circus, dude. Like the circus was like to distract you from the fact that your country and your men are gone and shit, and your son is gone. You know, like the parades, circus. Like it's just like, oh, that was an escape from like. Wartime. So you think that's how kind of entertainment is nowadays? Like there's
iPhones and
super
shit,
boom, super boom,
and they definitely like utilize and infiltrate those platforms and mediums, huh?
Yeah, it's like, man, whatever, but everything always trickles down through the fucking military, dude.
Huh?
Everything.
So there's the militarization of the world, I guess. I could see that. I never really thought too much about that.
But we don't think it. We think we're, having fun.
Yeah.
But we're really building something for them that we are not. I mean, we're aware of it. Our people can predict how it's going to be in 40 years, or I don't know.
So are you saying there's gonna be more like imposed government or like military forces on the people, like martial law type of shit, or what? Or like we kind of see that happening now a little bit. Well, earlier this year, I remember seeing some crazy shit, like the tanks going through the places and like beanbags being shot at people on their porch and shit, and like crazy.
It's likely, but you know what I really think? Honestly, that's that's likely, but I would say that's not going down because we're already doing it to ourselves. We're like a bunch of Smiths from. I don't want to reference the Matrix, but I'm going to reference the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like they're just potential Smiths. Like they look like a regular person right now, but then they can be like fed any idea to fuck your shit up, and they'll take it. Like that sounds harsh, but
nah. Well, this is the real deal we're talking about here.
Like,
I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything.
Sometimes I look at people and I'm like, you're probably like a Smith. Like you could, just by having the ability to vote, can like fuck shit up, you know. If there's a million of them, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that is what's scary nowadays.
Smith style, dude.
That is what's scary because I see that happening. Like most like.
That's why they want young people voting. Like,
yeah, because they don't know.
Or I mean, that's why they opened the borders here in California. Boom. Like,
what do you mean?
To like, you need a populace to vote. You know, like, you need an army. You know, you need like, someone that becomes a Marine, and then you know, like their mom's from fucking wherever, from Mexico or something. Like, you need like people that are just gonna like blindly. I see it in immigrants, dude. It's like
most of the military probably is.
They love George Washington.
A lot of immigrants, yeah. Like, and then they become kind of like Americanized in a way because
they become more of it than white people.
It's a way of like, you know, making something of yourself and getting out of poverty. Really, kind of, if you're smart enough to do that.
No, I understand it.
So like that's why people do it for sure. But then. I see, but I think what you're saying is like what, like jarheads basically, like that like sometimes they become that person where it's like, well, I think that's why school is the way it is. Like, all right, so I have this whole worldview of like
just programming.
Let me see this. I'm gonna try to zoom in on here a little bit because shit, my tech guy's not here, but
like you gotta be coachable, dude. You gotta be coachable.
What were we talking about? Oh, that shit's all fucked up. So wait, what were we talking about? You gotta be coachable and shit.
Yeah, they want a coachable population.
Yeah. Jarheads and shit. What else were we talking about?
But I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad. It might be good.
Fuck, what got us here? I can't remember. Oh, that's better. Can't remember.
I don't remember.
But whatever.
I'm just trying to like talk more than I usually talk since we're.
Yeah, it's all good. We're learning. We're living, learning.
Since we're shooting The Godfather right now.
But yeah, shit's crazy right now. A lot of leftist shit. I don't like.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
Super too weird shit. Too weird. But yeah, man. Oh, okay, yeah. So schools and shit. So this is my worldview, based on like a lot of research and just studying and reading and shit, and just how I feel about it personally through my experience. But everything was affected by the industrial age. So like industry, like the Ford model of like production, you know, like the production line and shit like that, and interchangeable parts and shit like that. The interchangeable parts themselves became the factory model itself. So like Ford, for example, was making cars, and at one point in time, like the cars that were made were all unique. Kind of what we were saying before, like everything became socialized in a way where like nowadays you get something breaks on your car, you can go to the junkyard and harvest the part, and it's interchangeable.
Right.
And so like before it was like really more unique parts where like each piece was like unique, and then everything became factory where it's like this part fits specifically this part, and it makes sense and it makes things go smoothly. But then the factory workforce and work style itself became just like that, where all right, you're this part, say you're the guy that picks, you're a picker in a warehouse and you pick the boxes off the truck, and then this person does this, and there's a driver, there's the picker, there's the pack, and there's the unpacker and all that. So it's like they modeled the world that way, where the society is that way, where it's like, all right, when you grow up you go into society and they're like, well, pick a job, basically find your part, the part where you want to be in the system, in the whole gear, all the gears. Which cog do you want to be? Do you want to be a plumber? Do you want to be, a firefighter? This is the things that they condition to us to. They don't think like, they don't say like you can be multiple things. So from the car itself and the parts that are interchangeable to the factory, how this person does this in the factory, and if something happens to you, we'll get someone else. They're interchangeable, so you're not like a unique person. So it's just crazy, but like everything was modeled that way, of like interchangeability and like just fitting in as components. So our world became more mechanicalized and shit like that. And so we're there's this, and then even testing, like standardized testing, it's like A, B, C, or D. This is the way we're programmed to think, that the answers in life are A, B, C, or D. We're not, and so we're fed all this information, and same thing with the factory workers. This is where it's all the same, because this is how the world changed. The school system was implemented for the industrial age. It was for people to be able to learn enough to follow the rules, but only in a way where they don't ask questions. You don't ask why, or I don't want to do this. You just do what you're told. And if you don't do it, then someone else will take your spot. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't really have a choice. You just have a perception of choice, like A, B, C, or D. So that's kind of how like society is kind of set up too, where we're not encouraged to, in school, we're not encouraged to like take chances and figure out a different way. Like math, for example, there's like how many different ways to get to the right answer, when we're only encouraged to think of it in one way, where it's like, nah, there's so many different, we should be encouraged to think of things in different ways. Like
Don't you think that is like an evolution though? It's considered an evolution.
What?
It's considered an evolution because it's like work rate is higher.
What happened?
Like
there's more production, more industry happened because of that?
No, I'm just saying, like, isn't that what is considered progress? Is like just the production, not value, but like the work rate is higher, faster.
Industry,
right?
the more you can produce, the numbers and all that, and then it's scalable. That's the thing about interchangeability too. Like everything's scalable. Once there's a system that's interchange, you could just ramp it up and scale it out. But there's no uniqueness in that. I guess that was kind of my point too, is like we're not encouraged to think differently. It's more of like, here's the guideline, here's the blueprint, just do it and do what you're told and don't ask questions. And that was part of the whole thing about school too. It was like for someone, it was to prep us to go into the workforce and be able to sit at a desk or whatever for 8 hours or whatever and not ask questions and sit still. Whereas before that, we were out learning things like hands-on. We were experiencing things, and how we learned things was through experience and fucking like doing them, not learning from a book. And then, or not learning shit you don't ever need to use, like algebra, or it's just weird. Like I feel like they kind of cut they kind of round people off, where it's like if you're really strong in this area, they don't focus on that, they just want to round you out. So you're like, oh, you kind of fit anywhere, but you don't really shine where you, like, I don't know.
Yes, it is. It's like stomping out like spirit. It's crazy. Like,
especially more artistic people that aren't like all books. Or like people that just have a different energy. A lot of entrepreneurs, like say Gary Vee or like Damon John, a lot of them didn't do good in school, but they have this energy and they see things differently. So it's like they can't sit down and just do what they're told. They have their own will. They have their own way of doing things. And in school, that's not promoted. That's like that's actually like frowned upon. They try to cut that out. Like they don't want people to think for themselves and have their own answers or have a different way of getting to an answer. They want you to just follow the rules exactly. Yeah, that's what I feel about school.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's not really all that important.
But yeah, I don't know, we were pumped that shit, like school. You can't go anywhere in life without school. Now it's like, now we live in the information age. We have all this. Oh, look at Elon Musk. Like, he learned rocket science by himself, like he taught himself that shit. He was one of like the leading guys in the world. So it's like, you don't need school really necessarily. Bill Gates, all those fools dropped out. But my thing is, I think it was a conditioning to, like, I don't know, man. Even down to the voting thing, it kind of is whack, Now people, I feel like, are seeing it, but it's like, oh well, there's only A and B. Like we got, Bill Clinton or Donald Trump or fucking Joe Biden. So it's like, it's not. It doesn't encourage people like to fucking come up with their own, like solutions, and like we're grassroots movements and shit like that. I feel like it's like we're back to relying on the government. We're like thinking they're gonna come and save us and shit like that. We're not really, but we need people that are working on the lower level, like working grassroots movements and shit, doing shit in the community and changing shit. They want to see change, or they don't. That's
what
like
I'm talking about, man. Like all these things that have been happening, like before the COVID too, like all the bad news. I was thinking like, man, yeah, that's tough, but like there's cases like that don't make the news and in your own city.
Yeah.
And you don't even consider that, but you're worried about like
that
Michigan
is a trip.
Or something, like
that is a trip. There is a lot of crazy different shit going on. Like like you said, Michigan, the whole water thing, or just even like normal shit like the flu and tuberculosis. People die all like hundreds of thousands of years, and this shit's been blown up all crazy.
I was mainly thinking about like all those shootings, like
and
getting shot by cops and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like that shit probably happens every day, bro. Like, and you won't even hear about 3, 4, 5 of them.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I'm just like.
Yeah, no, it does. That shit happens. But I don't know, man. I think that shit's kind of been perpetuated too. Yeah. Or it's like, I don't know, man. I've had a lot of run-ins with the police, and like I've had cops draw down on me with M16s and all types of crazy shit, like real drawdowns, like, and like I don't know. I feel personally like I have a certain way of dealing with the police, but
yeah, I'm not hating on the police.
I feel like a lot of people that get shot are doing stupid shit, and they kind of put themselves in that situation. I'm not saying all of them do, but every case is different, obviously.
I mean, man, I don't know.
Say it.
I mean, I don't know the person, so.
Exactly, every case is different.
I'm not gonna really act like I care that much, Like, I don't know that person. Like,
that's kind of what it comes down to too. it's like shit. Motherfuckers die every day, some one way or another. It's fucked up to say, but.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think about like all these social justice people that like? I don't like it. Like like a lot of people that I see sticking up for like BLM and all this fucking social justice shit are like white people that are super privileged. Maybe they feel fucking guilty or something, but it's like, I don't know. I'm half white, but I still consider myself a person of color. Everyone else considers me a person of color, so it's like, I know what it's like, you know what I mean? So like, but then still, even my white side, we weren't privileged at all. So like, we're pretty much, if you want to look at the classisms and shit like that, we were at the lower end, really. But I don't need nobody's fucking sticking up for me and my injustices that I experience. It's like, why don't you guys just worry about your fucking selves? Like, you guys are that fucking bored, or you have nothing to do with your lives, that you're trying to stick up for other people and other people's injustices. It's like, what the fuck? Like, that means really you're privileged. Vague. That means you have a lot of time.
It's really vague.
What?
The whole thing is like,
yeah.
I don't want to say any names or nothing, but I'm saying the whole thing is really vague. Like,
yeah.
What is the like? When is it like good? When is it like? What are you saying you want to where it's gonna be straight?
I agree, because I'm like kind of confused in a way, because I'm like, I feel like BLM is almost more a racist type of deal, because I don't know, I see a lot of like superiority where it's like, I don't know, man, people want to talk about white superiority, but like I feel like I'm seeing black superiority now, or whatever. Like, it's cool, like, be proud and feel strong and shit, but I see like a lot of people call it like white devils, and it's just crazy to me. Like, I've always been caught in the middle, so it's like I said, people will talk shit about white people in front of me all the time. I'm like, well, my mom's fucking white as fuck, so it's like my family is white, but they're not. Like I said, you're privileged white people, but I don't know. It's just, I got friends and family all over the map, so it's really hard for me to get into that on some ignorant shit where people are like, fuck this one race, or they did it. Like, nah, man, like that's passing the buck. Like, you know what I mean? That's passing on the accountability and the responsibility upon yourselves. Like, I get it though. Like, I think there's a lot of shit that's fucked up and shit like that, but I mean, me myself, I've never had no handouts, and like, I've had a rough life, so it's like, I'm not gonna sit there and wait for somebody to help change my you know, give me a hand. Like, come on, son, like, oh man, here's an opportunity. Like, like, you got to make your own opportunities, and we're in the place in the world where you can learn anything you want, dude, and fucking get good at it and do it. But
no, I'm in agreement. It's not really.
Well, everyone's knowing that, or a lot of people, like I said, like, it seems like most people that are going super hard with that are some white folks.
Dude, my friends don't care. They don't care about it. Yeah. They're quote black.
Yeah.
They don't care about it. It's like, no real people are caring about that shit.
Yeah.
No, I would be like, I mean, this is my true opinion. If there was some like Filipino shit out there, flag waving shit, I'd probably be like, what, like, kind of embarrassed. Like, that's not the real representation of that, of whatever that you want to consider that a group, demographic. You know, like the real people aren't.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are you really fighting for out there with BLM or whatever? It's like,
it's a bunch of people in their bubble. They probably don't even hang out with anybody on the regular, you know, like,
yeah,
they're just chilling.
Social media and shit.
They're just dominating, you know. But in real life, it's like, that's not really how it is in real life, dude. Like, these things I see, you know, like these news stories, it's like, what the fuck? Like, my friends don't care about that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think everything nowadays is kind of just based on merit. Like you said, like just if you're real or not, like if you're doing real shit or not. Like where we're at in California, everything's so integrated that it's like it doesn't matter what, like where you came from. If you're doing something and people know that it's real, then that's all there is to it. Like doesn't matter what color you're from, where you're from, or what accent you have or anything. Dude. It's like real recognizes real no matter what. Like, dude. So I mean, that's where we're at. Maybe in other parts, and I know it is different in other parts of the country, but I think it's changing. But
no, we're where, I swear, man, you said it before, dude. Like, we're at the like forefront of humanism, dude, or realism.
I think so.
You know, I don't know what to call it, but
that's what I kind of got a little debate with one of my homies, and he was like talking about the KKK, and like he's like, you're a person of color, and I was like offended by that. I don't even like being called person of color. Like that's like a derogatory thing to me. It's like, oh, because
you're not a person.
Like white's not a color.
Because you're not a person. You're a person of color. It's like,
yeah, if anything, black's not a color. Like scientifically, it's like the absence of light. That's what black is, right? So it's like white is a color. So you're trying to say, oh, person of color, but you're trying to be PC and thinking that that's like like a little cupcake you're giving me. Like, oh, you're a person.
So what is he? A person of no color? He's a person, bro.
Right. Yeah.
He's a person.
Right, yeah, you hit him with that real shit. We all bleed red and shit, so.
Well, he's a person, and we're people.
Nah, that's some real shit, and I don't like that term, person of color. Like, miss me with that shit, bro. Like,
well, that's what's walking around.
We're all colorful, you know what I mean? We all fucking bleed red. Like, white people are white. That's a color. Some people got red hair. Some people, you know what I mean? Like, blue eyes. Like. Yeah, we're all colorful, but
that's what I'll call alien. That shit is alien, dude. Like, it's foreign to how we are. Like, that type of thing is foreign to how we are.
So, do you think it's perpetuated?
Yes, it is. It's taught. It's like, or I mean, I don't. It's like engineered.
Because I feel like just back to just my own experience, like growing up and where we grew up in Southern California, there was like, I guess you could call it racism, but then that's the thing too. Like, what are the degrees of racism? Because like back in the day, racism was way worse. Like, yeah, I don't think it's not going down like it used to. Like shit that I don't even want to speak about. You know what I mean? Like just crazy lynchings or whatever, like type of hunts and shit like that or whatever. It's like. Or even internment camps and shit, like with Japanese people and shit like that or whatever. It's like there's a whole different type of racism. Now we want to just there's so many crazy political things going on in the world. But
well, that's why they keep making these movies. That's why they keep making these movies based on race. They're like teaching you how to be racist.
Yeah.
The movies or
media too.
Yeah, anything on TV. Like, they're teaching you. I swear, man. Like, when I was little, I thought I was white. Like,
yeah.
I didn't think, not just because I saw more white kids than anything else.
Yeah. I feel you.
And then I realized I was Asian. You know. Like,
yeah.
But it was after like a certain age. I was like, oh, I never even considered that.
Huh.
Like, children don't consider that, you know.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. I think we do. I think we grew up and noticed differences. Like, even if someone's brown, and this person's brown, and this person's brown, and this person's fat, and this person's skinny, you're gonna notice the fat and skinny, short hair or short and tall.
That's like the context it should be in, like.
That's how I look at it.
Skin color. I mean, it's no big deal to me. Like, but
I know people notice. So that's the question. That's kind of like what we're saying with the degrees of racism, where it's like, are you racist if you just notice that, like, you know, certain things, like black people are good at basketball. Like, is that racist? I don't think
that's racist. No, I mean,
so.
Speaking for myself,
it's just that's how stupid shit's got though. It's where it's like you can't say that because that's like generalizing all black people. I got a friend that doesn't play basketball, he sucks, or like doesn't rap. Like, oh, black people rap, or, you know, just shit like that. It's like, but it goes back and forth, you know. But you know,
no, I don't think that's how people think. I mean,
but so you think it's being pushed though? For sure, I think so too. So you think there's like an agenda behind like it being pushed? Is well,
yeah,
let's ask.
Sure.
Especially during the times of like right now of like election and shit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure every time there's something important coming up, they come out with some movie that's gonna, or something on Netflix that's gonna curb your decision.
That's crazy. That's like some MK Ultra shit, huh?
Yeah, that's like perfect form, in its perfect form. Cause we keep thinking like it's like we have time to get ready for this shit. That's the whole thing with like all the civil unrest shit, you know. I think it's already a wrap. Like, that's not even like an option in like the computing of the possibilities.
What do you mean, like?
Because
like the civil unrest.
Yeah, you know how like there's just like dialogue of like civil war, dialogue of like prepping for people to come kicking your door down and
you
shit.
don't think that's gonna happen?
I mean,
no.
I don't know the answer. I mean, I don't even know my opinion on that, you know.
I hope it doesn't, but I think it's kind of being perpetuated. Should we get a different bottle? Because this one has a lot of weed in it.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Hold on. This is some good shit right here. Some Macallan.
Oh God.
Whiskey.
Yeah.
Some Macallan, some whiskey. I've been drinking some whiskey.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
God bless your heart.
God bless your heart. I'm gonna start saying that too. It's in a rap song that I like. Sci-Hi, Prince. God bless your heart. Yeah, so what do we do about this, dude? I think we're all hip to what's going on. So I think from here on out, what we gotta do is kind of figure out. For me, for some reason, I want to say it, and it's coming to my mouth, but like a spiritual fucking like answer or like direction. You know what I mean? To where we go and like how we handle the current situations going on. Feel like putting reliance on governments and men and ideologies that are arguable and are actually divisive are not good. I think we need to try to figure out how to come together and fucking make it work, like Bob Marley said.
It's good. Yeah.
We job people make it work.
I mean, is it that bad right now?
That's the thing too. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
is it that bad?
Because like we were just talking about, is perpetuated, and it's kind of like, so they're projecting all this shit, and then the media is like amplifying it. Boom. And then that's what we're constantly being bombarded with over and over again. And it's like, I'm hip to it, but it's like other people might not be. So they're getting boom boom programmed like every day. It's being battered into their head like fucking COVID, fucking whatever. Like,
turn that shit off, dude.
Turn that shit off, dude. You're being fucking infiltrated, and it is psychological, and it is. So,
we get it, like.
So how do we unplug from that, and what do we plug into and tune into?
Yeah, something
spiritual, like music, and like to me that's spiritual, like getting in the flow, like music or like sports even, or like just physical activity, shit like that. It's like some sort of meditation where you're unplugging, but you're tuning into like a source, like this creative energy flow field force. Like, it's like some real shit that's creative, that you create a reality with, instead of being like a reality being imposed upon you. It's like you create your own reality.
Just do it.
Yeah, because otherwise there's like I think we're just receivers and shit, so like we have to unplug and be conscious of certain things that are taking our attention and using our resource, which is attention and energy. That's our energy, you know. It's like our attention. Wherever our attention goes, our energy flows. Like, you know, like that's why it's like cool to figure out your physical, because I think that brings out all of that. Like if you're skating or boxing or whatever you like to do, riding bikes, like you're bringing your mind and your body and all your energy into it, to that one focal point, which I think is cool, and it unplugs you from like the bullshit that's going on, which like nowadays you got to make that a priority, because like the cell phones, the TVs, were, like I said, we're being bombarded so much by all these things trying to infiltrate our psychology, our spirituality, which is like a problem right now.
No, to think that you can resist that powerful of a thing is like a joke. Like your phone.
It's so strong
or your TV
right now.
Like, bro, no.
It's so strong right now.
Like you have to turn it off.
I even think like this 5G shit's like kind of going crazy. Like I feel
I want to go on my
I don't
phone
know
like
if
right now.
Well, no, I just feel like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just convince myself of things. We all do, and then I try not to. But I think 5G is fucking with people, bro. But it might be a good thing.
Do you think it made you crazy already?
I think it is, dude. But it could be a lot of things. You know, there's a lot of factors, like with COVID and just how the world is right now. Everything's crazy right now. So could I say it's 5G? I don't know. Could be part of it. I think maybe. Because I just been feeling kind of weird myself lately. And just like, I don't know, kind of off in a way. But it could just be life.
What was up with that headache you had?
Oh no, dude. That's what I'm like late. Like,
was that dick pill headache?
Yeah, horny goat weed. Oh no, dude. That shit was weird, bro. It was like connected to my neck, and then it spread too, though. I don't know, man. Something's up. My ass will be thinking it's like some type of spiritual test or something.
Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna say, but
it could be like some shit that, like some stress I'm just holding on to, and it's like staying in my body. But that's what I'm trying to figure out myself personally. Like, what am I doing? And like, I always like to think about my peoples too. So it's like, what are we doing? How are we dealing with life and everything that's going on? Because I think that's kind of what is cool about right now. Everyone's kind of like in the same boat as far as with this pandemic thing. Like, literally everyone in the world's like in this shit. So it's like, we can all relate to that. Bad. Like, that's one thing that we can all relate to. No matter if we agree to it or not, we can relate to what's going on. Like the masks, the this and that, blah, blah, blah. If we don't even agree on it, we could all know what's going on and say we experienced that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's really crazy.
It's kind of crazy that everyone's on the same page as far as like focusing on things. Yeah. Which is good, though. I think that's why a lot of people are more involved in the politics right now. A lot of people are voting because they are more aware and engaged and shit, which is cool. But I think we're realizing that the government, because growing up we always thought like, we never thought like government conspiracies. Now I think it's like a normal thing to talk about or accept in society. Like, yeah, the government's fucked up. Where before it was like, you know, I feel like because I think, well, one's just like YouTube and shit, and fucking information's being able to be relayed and spread throughout the world so fast and easily, and so, and just, I mean, people are just waking up to all of it. Like,
YouTube changed everything. Crazy.
It's good and it's bad, and we just gotta learn how to work with it. But yeah. Yeah, man. So what's up? You gonna keep drinking this or what? What do you want to do?
It's on you, yeah, let's hit it.
You want to smoke some more weed?
Yeah.
Smoke some OG?
Yeah.
We're at like an hour in right now. What do you think about... some reason this shit just popped up. Well, you got something to say? Say it.
Hey, let me bring this up right here. What do you think of... Hello, check.
Yeah, you should be good. Yeah, you're good.
No, what do you think of this right here? All right, you know how people I mean, there'll be someone who will like make this argument about like technology and how it's like
yeah, that's a good one.
Usurping nature, you know, like
yeah,
and they think that's like they're mad at it, or I mean, they still have a phone, of course, but they're mad at that, right? But what I was thinking, what I was thinking was, you know, like how computers are made of minerals, right? Like mined gold and shit, or whatever, nickel, and then the plastic, which is like a byproduct of the earth, you know, like the oil refinery. And then, why is that not nature?
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, it is, what my point is, that it is nature and it's an evolution. It's like the true definition of that. Of like, we have to evolve or else.
Well, yeah, I feel you. I want to take that a little further too, because like there was an argument that I can't remember who was saying it recently, but it was about like consciousness and so like if a tree has consciousness, it depends on your view of like, you know, consciousness and philosophy and shit, but like say you're a Buddhist and you believe everything kind of has a consciousness, right?
Okay.
All right, so like you were saying, like those computers are made of elements, but so like what if, so like, okay, so like, or spirit almost, or consciousness kind of, because like no one really knows what that is. Like how do we know what consciousness is? Where does it come from? That's like one of the questions, kind of like a scientific / metaphysical fucking question, like what is consciousness and where does it come from, right? Well, so like if when we have consciousness and then we die, does it just go away, or like where did it come from when we were born? But so like say these computers and AI, people are afraid that they're becoming more conscious, they're gonna know more and be more aware than people are, arguably. But so what's to say that, you know, like you said, like those are forms of nature.
It is.
And so like what's to say that consciousness doesn't want to be in, or it's not already? I think it already is. It's
That's
part
scary.
of, it's part of consciousness. Say like these are gonna be, oh shit, that shit shut off. But fuck, we could keep going though. But like these cameras are part of people's consciousness now. They've tapped into people's consciousness because that they're gonna be broadcasted to people and they're gonna see it, and like it's gonna change their consciousness. Or like a ring, you know, the doorbell things, like the rings, like that's part of consciousness now, where people are like tapping into it when they're at work and they're knowing what's on at their home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like it is already, but it's gonna get more advanced where it's like, you know, you've seen the movies and it's like we're like, you know, people are human. I mean, robots are like humans and they learn and shit. Like some RoboCop shit or something where it starts having feelings and shit like that. So, what's this? Was your question like, is that good or bad? Like you kind of brought it up, the whole topic, but
no, I wasn't saying is it good or bad. I was just.
What do you don't think it is good or bad? Inevitable. It's just inevitable. Yeah. So we got to fucking figure it out, huh? That's kind of how I feel about anything that's inevitable. It's like, well, it's not going away. It's not, you know, we can't get rid of it. So how are we going to work with it the best? How are we going to find, you know, the happy medium that works the best? Even with just simple as fucking, you know, teaching our kids, like, we are that next step in evolution where, like, we are cyborgs basically, because we're connected to our cell phones pretty much, and it's part of our consciousness. We're tapped into the internet, which is like millions of people's consciousness. So it's like, how do we teach our kids to utilize such a tool? Because we weren't taught that. We have to learn it ourselves and then teach our kids.
Yeah.
So it's like we're part of that evolution between man and machine. It's kind of crazy to think about.
I mean, sometimes I hold my phone so long that I feel like, damn, like this thing is like connected to me.
Exactly.
Know? Like,
it really is. As soon as you wake up, before you even get out of bed, what's the first thing you grab? Like your phone.
I've consciously thought like I could be like a cyborg right now, something like,
yeah,
taped it to me or something, like it feels stuck to me.
So like that's the next thing they're trying to, like, Elon Musk, they're talking about those little chips basically that they're gonna cut a piece of your skull out and put that, make it part of your skull, and then it just taps into your brain. And it's like, well, we already kind of got that, just not physically put into our skull.
Yeah, there's one in there, there's a beta.
Yeah, keep talking. I gotta put this battery in. Oh, we got an hour. You want to keep going or what?
It's on you? Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I said anything good.
No, you did.